Welcome everyone to another episode or a return episode of the Husky Barbu. I'm back. Did you miss me? No, who gives a shit? I'm back. Anyway, this is kind of a special podcast, a special episode for me because I've hit the 30th episode mark. This is a personal accomplishment for me because I honestly did not think I was gonna do this long. I know on the podcast I said I'm gonna continue, and that's the plan, to continue to do these. But there was a side of me, because if you know me, I kind of tend to quit things. Hence why I'm a little chunky and never actually completed any exercise because reasons, and a whole literary or a bucket list of shit that you are not prepared to deal with because you are not my shrinks. Anyway, be that as it may, I tend to quit shit while I'm ahead, but like I said on the last podcast, I'm not gonna quit this. This is to go. This is to continue. As for better for worse, this is a marriage, an actual marriage, not the bullshit that they feed us nowadays. And as I said on the other podcast, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do what I like. And I'm gonna say what I think. I'm gonna say what I want to say. And also letting you know that this particular podcast, this one that we're recording, is gonna be the last one for the year 2020. Yes, what a wonderful year has been, right? Beautiful, just a glorious year for everyone. I mean, nothing happened. I apologize for those of you. Oh, don't worry, that little shaking. If you're watching the video, the little shaking is because I had my hands on the table and kind of moved the camera there. So that's on me. That's my bad. As I said, like nothing happened this year. There's nothing, no importance, right? Just everybody locked into their house, working from home. If you are one of the lucky ones that are working from home, God bless. You can consider yourself a lucky person. I can consider myself a lucky person. Like I said in the other podcast, I'm kind of reiterating things that I already regurgitated on the previous podcast. But nonetheless, as I stated on the previous podcast, a lot of things happened this year that made me realize that, there has been a hand on me, taking care of me, being careful of my decisions and my walk. And I have to thank God. Whether you guys believe it or not, that's inconsequential in terms of what I believe, because the important here is that I'm living my life, and that's what I encourage everyone to do, to live their life as they see fit without hurting themselves or other people. So let's continue on that. One of the things that have happened since last time we recorded, I got Disney Plus. Because DR or Latin America finally was gracious enough to receive Disney Plus from Disney, after you gringos have had the pleasure of having this for a year. We finally got it, and right away what I did is that I got myself up to date to The Mandalorian. If you guys are not aware, and if you don't if you're watching the video, you can tell, like right over there, you can probably tell there's some characters that you might recognize. Yeah, right around there. Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan, so the Mandalorian kind of fits into the bill, and I've been enjoying the Mandalorian so far. Spoiler free, don't worry, I'm not gonna say anything. So I've been up to date to the last episode of the new season. I already saw season 1, season 2. It's because it's easier to get to know these characters or get to know the series, because it's like 8 episodes a season, and each episode is like 38 minutes more or less. So it's kind of easy to follow up. So you don't feel this need to, like, oh my god, I have this whole week. You can pretty much get into, like, in 2 days if you're lazy. I think you can get up to date in a day. So right now it's $5.99 in DR. So if you like to enjoy that, want to try it, be my guest. And that's a free promotion for you, Disney. Expecting a discount soon. Not. Also enjoying the announcements that Disney gave to their investors this past week, with all the series and movies that are coming up out of the gate from Disney. I don't know if Disney's going to follow the Warner Brothers route. They're just going to throw everything into HBO Max, their streaming service, which we still don't have access to. So I can't enjoy that, fortunately, on my end. But I am going to enjoy the Marvel and Disney stuff, hence why wearing the Marvel cap. Because, I'm actually neither nor team. I mean, I do have my inclination towards DC, but right now Marvel is the more accessible. Let's just say that. So, I liked all the announcements that they did for Disney, Pixar, for the Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars announcements that are coming out of the gate, and quite happy with that stuff. And since now I have the product, I have the way of watching it, I guess it's just going to be a matter of time until I can give my 2 cents about it. Not that it matters, and that's another thing that we need to address. I'll address that later on in the pod. I don't intend to take too much time talking, but it's just, though, like I said, we're getting the reps in just to learn how to do this, and then we'll finally learn what we're actually doing. So live and learn, and learning as we go. Still haven't watched The Boys, so those of you who have asked me in the personal level, you gotta watch The Boys, I've talked about this before in the podcast. At this point, I don't know if I'll ever watch it. I mean, I do have Amazon Video. I have it, but I don't know. Madalorian is kind of right now fulfilling the spot that the right amount of stuff that I want to see. No blood or guts. It's not that I've gone soft or whatnot. It's just that I'm in a delicate state of mind to say a lot of shit clogging in my head, and I'd rather go with the old reliable shit. And Star Wars is very comfortable blanket for me. So I'll go with the Star Wars stuff, and like I said, I really enjoy The Mandalorian, and it's a lot of payoff, and I think that it's very written in a very smart manner, in terms of that you can probably, without getting too much into spoiler territory, I think that it's a lot of corrective writing, if you will, in terms of the new sequels. If you watch the series, you probably understand what I'm talking about. So I won't go any further details than that. But nonetheless, finally watching stuff other than podcasts. So I guess my mind is declogging, as I say. In a personal level, I'm doing devotionals in the morning. I mean, I don't know how that is so important to talk about, but in terms of my spiritual development, I mean, after all, I do call myself a Christian. I did identify myself as a Christian, and doing devotionals in the morning, reading stuff, Bible verses and whatnot, slowly but surely reconnecting that part of my faith, that I've kind of stepped away. I've been very honest about it, kind of stepped away from the religious bullshit, and this is where I'm coming to. And that kind of goes into the nerdy stuff, because it's a human condition. It's a human thing that we do. See, we see things through a certain prism, to a certain angle, to a certain point of view, and we hold so dear to it, and we think that this is the way, quote the Mandalorian, this is the way, this is the only path that we need to take, and if we don't follow that particular path, then you're fucking up and you're not doing it right. and we tend to like want to correct people and tell them what the fuck to do. I see that a lot in and pretty much in everything that I love, everything that I enjoy. I mean, look, I'm a metalhead. I love metal. Look at the hair, look at the beard. I just don't do tattoos because it's non-original. I don't give a shit about doing tattoos. If you want to tattoo yourself, paintings and whatnot, go for it. That's on you. I don't do the tattoos or piercings because I find it unoriginal because everybody does it. So if you want to be original, don't tattoo. I guess that's the way. Go au natural. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. Look, I got the beard. It's almost white now. Kind of look like 2020 Russell Crowe now. Since the eyeglasses and the brown eyes. And the curly hair. The Jufro. So I'm a metalhead. I'm a nerd. I was a geek before being a geek was cool. I was a geek in the 80s. I mean, I was collecting comic books. That's, you see back there, that's a collection of comic books, and some of them are very fucking old. That was like in the 80s and the 70s, and I have those, and I've collected comic books. It's not that I am a big, huge collector of comics, but nonetheless, I collect them. I'm a nerd, and in every single area of the things that I love, be it metal, be it comic books, be it Star Wars, be it Christianity, you find a controversy on everything because guess what? Humans are involved, and once you get people involved in any type of enjoyment, you're gonna have conflict because people will tend to what is the word here? Tribalize everything. You have to see things to a certain prism, or you're against this or that. In the particular case of Christianity, I saw an example my wife was showing me. There is a local pastor here in the Dominican Republic. I will not mention names because I'm not into exposing this or that. But he's doing a kind of like a radio show through the internet, or a blog or video through YouTube. I don't know, but it looks like very radio-ish. He's a famous pastor, and he's also a famous singer, and he was doing a show with a person of a similar faith, but very extreme in his views in terms of that you shouldn't be dressing this way, you shouldn't be dressing. So this pastor, this famous pastor I'm talking about, he's very, I won't say liberal, but he's very open-minded in terms of how he dresses. You know, he's very modern dressed. You know, sometimes he just wears not flip-flops, but, you know, like, I wouldn't know how to say it. He dresses very modern. And, you know, he has a very high sense of fashion in terms of what is hip and right now. I mean, he takes good care of himself. He looks good. He's a married man. I won't go as far as saying, you know, he's like a Carl Lentz, but because, you know, what happened to Carl Lentz, we already talked about that in the previous podcast, so it's better not to talk about that. But anyways, kind of that idea, but actually faithful to his wife, and I don't mean to trash Carl Lentz. The thing is that, my apologies to Carl Lentz, I don't want to make people feel bad, especially when they're going through the worst. The thing is that these two individuals, two pastors actually, were debating whether a Christian should be wearing that type of clothes. And my wife was very intrigued by this because she's kind of a fan of the hip pastor because he's a good singer. He's a very actually good singer. All the stuff that I've said already fills in the blank who he is, and the reason I don't want to say his name because and the reason I mention this at all is because I'm like, what the hell does this has to do with living your life before God? Excuse me, the people that don't believe in God, but let us all pretend as if God is real. In my opinion, he is, anyways. And so, anyway, let's pretend God is real. If God is real, what the fuck is it so important the way how I dress, how I look? For example, there are churches here in DR and probably even in the States that would not accept a guy that looks like me because I have a beard and my hair is a little longer. Yeah, you see that little longy thing in here? Yeah, it's pretty fucking long because my hair is long and I have a beard and I look like a communist from the 1970s. And just that will disqualify me from receiving grace from any old school church because they deem me as a non brother because they think I'm pretending that I'm not a true brother, and they judge you just for the way you look. And I know that some of you are like, well, they're assholes. Yeah. I'm not debating that. Yeah, they're assholes. But the thing is that you can take that type of attitude and you can use it on pretty much any social dilemma that exists on earth. I mean, there are religions that take that concept and turn it into, I will fucking kill you if you don't do what I tell you. If you're not following the letters of what I perceive as the law to the T, I will fucking kill you. Not that I will excommunicate you. Like, it's not that I will kick you out of the church. It's not that I will kick you out of this or that. No. I will literally kill you. You can fill in the blanks of what I'm talking about. And again, no need to judge anyone by their positions in life and whatnot. That's not the point. The point is that in terms of my faith, I can't speak for every faith, but in my faith, what I've perceived, and we're talking about perceptions here, what I've perceived and what I think most people would agree with me in terms of the biblical perspective on this is that you live before God and the judgment of others is of no consequence. If my heart is pure and is genuinely following God, what the hell does what anybody think or say has to do with how you perceive my faith and the way I walk before God? Because this has nothing to do with you. My walk has nothing to do with you. I think I already talked about this verse that I read in a previous podcast with Jesus appeared to the disciples after his resurrection. Humor me, please. And he talked to Peter, and Peter was following him. Then Peter noticed that John was following them, and Peter was telling Jesus, "What about this guy? I mean, you told me to follow you. What this guy doing?" And Jesus gave him like shut the fuck up juice on him and told him, "Look, if I want this fool to stay here," I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it exactly like that, but I'm paraphrasing. "If I want this fool to stay here until I come back, what that is to you, you follow me. Forget about him." So, forget about what other people think. It's my life before God, and I'm letting you know that that's pretty much right now my manifesto, my MO, my words to live by, my mantra. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I don't give a fuck how other Christians perceive me. I don't give a fuck how other people perceive me. I am trying. I'm not perfect. I'm not a good Christian. I've already established that. And I'm cursing, by the way. So I'm letting you all know I'm not a great Christian. But nonetheless, I have decided to follow Jesus. And whatever course correction or correcting needs to be done on me, in the meantime, God will deal with that with me later. I mean, he has corrected me in a lot of areas in my life. Believe me, I've been. This is not my first rodeo. This is not my first time. And whatever course correcting that needs to be done, that will be done in his appropriate time, at his pace, with me, because he's dealing with me. You're not dealing with me. If you have issues the way I talk, the way I am, the way I, whatever the fuck, that's on you, dude. And I have no inclination to change anyone to be a 2.0 version of me. You understand? It's like, I'm not trying to force people to see God in my way, in my prism. If anything, if you want to see God, go ahead and you find out by your own self. If you don't want to follow God, that's on you as well. You do whatever you... That's my MO. Follow what you want to do, just as long as you don't hurt people and you don't hurt yourself. Okay? That's my MO. That's my way of living. So there. And I see that attitude with everything else. Like, for example, not everyone, but nowadays it's kind of condemning to be a Christian, to believe in God. It's kind of like, I've seen it a lot, and especially in social media. Oh, surprise. That people make fun of people who believe in God. And for the most part, I get it, because most believers have not done a great job in terms of showing, how should I say this without adding insult to injury here, not showing great intelligence. Yeah, I said it. Fuck it. Or not showing a level of, being balanced minded, and not going to the fucking extremes of saying, this is how I see things and this is the way it has to be, and you got to follow this way, or there will be consequences and repercussions and you're going to hell. The infamous, go to hell card that most evangelicals use. I don't understand how that is supposed to make people feel good. And Christianity is not a feel good message. It's not. It's about, if you listen to what Jesus actually said, it's about, you're gonna die. If you follow me, you are in a path of dying every day. Your desires, your will, you have to conform to my will. But that's not going to happen from one day to another. That is a daily process that little by little, your will has to be sacrificed to my will, but you have to accept it spiritually. I'm paraphrasing. I'm trying to explain something that's very deep and trying to explain it in like the lamest terms. And this is something that is a spiritual discipline, and it's not to be applied on the obligation of what I perceive. Like, I can't make you see this thing. I can't make you understand this thing. So why the hell am I going to force you to do this? I can't force you. I can't make you follow this path. It is something that has to be birthed out of your heart. You follow God because this revelation was revealed to you. Sorry to repeat myself. So that is how I perceive Christianity. I could be wrong. I may be wrong. I'm no theologian. I am not an expert of the law. I do have a bunch of Bibles. I have studied somewhat the Bible since I was 13 years old, but I'm no expert. I don't pretend to be. I am not a theologian. I don't know Hebrew. I don't know Aramaic. I don't know Greek. I don't know none of that shit. I never study any of that shit. And I don't pretend to know that shit. So, but that's my perception. That's how I understand it. So I am not into these type of guys that just beat the Bible out of you with my beat a Bible in your head and crack an open wound in your head and fill it on with all this information. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how that brings Christ into people's heart. If I may say so, the real way how Christianity could actually escape from the jaws that it's in right now, the litany, the I don't know, the shackles which is in right now, Because I believe Christianity is in shackles right now. It's like, it's stupid. It's stupid. The level of stupidity that we're presenting right now, it's stupid. And the only way that I think that can change is that to actually show the virtues of Christ in our lives. You know how that's done? Actually believing this shit. And I'm not calling it shit. Just an adjective, although very badly used. But an adjective nonetheless. Just believing this. Actually doing this. It's an action, not talk. And no. There's very few people on this planet that are actually doing and not just talking. And the moment Christians stop talking so much garbage and actually start loving their neighbor, actually showing the love of God, being that Jesus that people don't see because Jesus is not out there walking around the world physically. He left us, the believers, the people that believe, and we're doing a shitty job so far, the shittiest of jobs of presenting Jesus to the world. We think that beating people with a Bible over their head is presenting Jesus. No, you're talking the talk. You haven't walked the walk, if I may paraphrase Ric Flair. Woo! Every time you say Ric Flair, you have to say woo. Hence there. Woo. Salud. That's water. Anyway. I went on a little rant there. But it merited one. And that principle that I presented to you, it applies to a lot of shit too. Applies to nerdom. This. It's like, I remember, I think I talked about this in a previous podcast, but I'm following the steps of Joe Rogan. Rogan always explains the same shit in his podcast. Let me do the same. I'm comparing myself to the best. We were in work. And when we used to go to the office at work. Awkward silence. Anyway. As I already said, I'm a geek, and my reputation precedes me, and everybody in work knows that I'm a major geek. And they asked me, they were in a conversation, killing each other, talking about who would win in a fight, Superman or Batman. And I found it amusing that I had to be the voice of reason. That, okay, children, let's huddle up here together. They actually stopped working by the way, to talk about this shit. It wasn't a break. Anyway. And I went to them, okay, children, huddle up here. Okay, let me ask you this question before I continue. You are aware that these are fictional characters, right? That they are not real. You are aware of that, right? You are aware. You are aware that they're not real. So, all that time that you guys were discussing, you were discussing about nothing. Because it is not real. We're aware of that, right? You're aware of that? You're aware of that? Everyone is aware of that? Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to be sure. Okay, good. So, that's the thing. Like, people get so pissed on, like, I've seen people review, and you have the right to review a show or a comic and see what you want to see in it, or like or dislike it. You have the right to do that, and that's your prerogative in life. But to get to the level of vitriol hate that I see people going, like, no, this is the worst shit ever. And I mean, yes, you can say it's shit, but and then you go into the plot details and caring for this. I'm like, you are aware this is bullshit, right? Like, the thing that pisses me off the most about the Star Wars fans, because let's be honest, of all the groups out there that are in fandom, there are no worse groups of fandom out there than Star Wars fans. Those are the worst. You cannot be satisfied for anything, with the exception of the Madalorian. Mandalorian's killing it. Everybody agrees with that. But this trilogy, yes, problems. But then again, guess what had problems too? The prequels. And guess what had problems as well? The original trilogy. How dare you? Shit was not planned out from the beginning. So they were adding shit from the get-go. Yeah, George Lucas had a general idea, but he didn't have it concrete. To the point that we've had books, series, and extra movies to comic books to explain the whole plot and have it make sense. And for one, I'm like, okay, good. That gives an idea to be creative. That gives a chance to be creative. For example, I've said it multiple times. I was one of the few that actually enjoyed The Last Jedi. And in my opinion, and you can fight me on this, it's the best movie of the new trilogy. It's the best one. I'm sorry. It's the best one. As fucked up as it was, as it fucked up a lot of shit in the lore, be that as it may, story-wise, was the best one of all 3 movies. Fight me, but it's true. The level of hatred that I saw people having against Rian Johnson, like, okay, I can understand that was not your cup of tea. I can understand you didn't like it. I can understand that, and I can accept it. I'm not going to change your mind in terms of why I like it or why don't you like it. You are allowed to not like it, and I'm allowed to like it. Let's agree to disagree and whatnot. But to go on Twitter and release the vitriol of hate, that shit I will never understand it. I don't know if it's because I'm fucking old, because I'm 42, or because, I mean, I grew up in the social age. I've been electronically equipped since the age of 5. I've had an Atari, then the SES, then NES, sorry, and then Super NES, and then the PlayStation, and then N64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, the works. I've, grew up with all this shit. And the social media, I was there when it was birthed. So I was already an adult. I guess that's the reason why I haven't fucked up yet in social media. Well, certain exceptions. Tumblr. Fuck you, Tumblr, by the way. That was another thing that I had to get off my chest. Anyway, this hatred, it's a human condition. So see, it's been a trend with Christianity. Stop being dicks, just show the love of God. And Star Wars fans, if you are truly Star Wars fans, what the hell is Star Wars preaching? Balance. To be one with the Force and whatnot. I know we're not actually believing in this thing. It's not an actual religion. For a few of you. Fucking weird. Using fucking robes and buying those fucking lightsabers. Like, I'm a fan. I got the action figures and whatnot, but you're gonna see me in a fucking convention. Not even fucking dead. No. No, I mean, I do have the Obi-Wan Kenobi beard, but I'm not gonna... And no disrespect to those who wear that shit. I mean, that's your shit. You love it. Same things with sports fans. They wear the jerseys of the athletes that they like. You are allowed to enjoy yourself. Just don't be a fucking dick about it. That's all. That's the moral of the story here. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Have fun with everything. There's nothing wrong with Star Wars. There's nothing wrong with being a fan of football or baseball or basketball. Why not? There's nothing wrong with being a fan. It's good. It's okay. Waste your money. I mean, if you earned it, you earned your money. You worked hard for it, and you want something, go fucking get it. Buy it. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. There's only one fucking life. If you want something, and if it's within your means, and you're not fucking up your family, go ahead. Go get it. I mean, enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Have fun. There's some people that have a fucking geek cave. I mean, look, you can see behind me, there's some geeky shit here. But I don't go balls to the wall. Not because I don't want to. It's because I can't afford to. Anyway. But I got some geeky shit. And I enjoy it. I have it. And I have fun. Why? Because it's the fruit of my labors and I want to enjoy it. I want to have fun with it. Same thing with you. I mean, if you were going to take a moral of the story here, and we're about to end this podcast now, we're not going to go that long, is to enjoy yourself. Have fun. Be nice to one another. Don't be such fucking assholes to each other on the internet, on social media. I even stopped posting. I mean, I still got my social media because eventually I'll start drawing again. Eventually. And eventually I'll do my shit, but everything, like every 2 posts I see is people being fucking dicks to each other. It's like, what kind of vitriol, hatred shit is inside of the souls of people that they think that they can talk to people like they're fucking shit? I don't get that. Like, yeah, you're allowed to feel certain things for certain individuals, but you don't have to be a fucking dick. You don't know what the fuck they're going through. You don't know their fucking lives. Like, going after, like I was saying, Ryan Johnson. The fuck? Leave that dude alone. Like, he did his shit, and you don't like it, that's not your cup of coffee. Okay, good. But it's done. That's another thing. You don't own Star Wars. We don't own Star Wars. Disney does. So Disney does with Star Wars as they fucking please. You take what they give you, and you will just accept it. You don't have to like it, but you have to live with it. Like Ric Flair said. Woo! Second mention of Ric Flair. Third, actually. Anyway, as I said, I don't know if I'm going to record another podcast in this month. I think this will be the last one for the month for a year's end. 2020 has been a cunt, to say the least. But I've also seen a lot of good things come out of 2020 in my personal side. I think I've grown as a human being and learned to appreciate life a little better and to value myself a little better too as well. So as shitty as 2020 has been, and we don't need to go there. We already all know it's been a shithole of a year. We've survived so far. So hopefully the next time I come back, we're all survived. It's 2021. And hopefully the world is in a better place. Hopefully. And we can learn to coexist with one another and love one another and accept one another and whatnot. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to post here in the end, a brief showing of my TeePublic store. I insist on this because it actually is producing some money, not a lot. Believe me, it's like 1 or 2 merch I get that gets sold a month. But I'm going to promote it. Please go to the TeePublic store that has, although it has the logo of the Husky Bad Boo, but it's mine. There's t-shirts there, masks, cell phone covers, laptop covers, notebooks, things that have my design on it. So you're helping me out in a way. So if you want to help me out in terms of growing this stuff and turning it into something respectable, I don't know. Yeah, go check that page out. I'm gonna put it here in the end. You're gonna see, like, maybe around here, gonna see like some scrolling. Oh, showing shit. There you go, magic of editing. You're gonna see it there. And those for the video side. If you're listening to audio, get dick. Watch the video. And you can actually see. Anyway, this has been the Husky Bad Boo. This is Ariel. This has been Ariel. And as I said, I think this will be the last podcast of the year. But we'll be back in January. Hopefully with renewed spirits and vigor. And I hope you have a great holiday. Whatever you celebrate. Being open-minded and generalizing there. To being acceptable of all people. Of all faiths and all celebrations. So happy holidays, happy new year. Maybe I do make a quick run in back. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I maybe come back to do a Smart Nerd podcast. That's my wrestling podcast that I do with the guys. If you listen to it, it's in the same channel here in YouTube as in this Husky Bible. So again, this has been the Husky Bible podcast. This has been Ariel. Have a great rest of the year. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Bye, guys.